Hello and welcome back to A World Without with me, Kris.
And me, Jack. This is the podcast where we get into the hypothetical and discuss what we think would happen if something from our everyday lives suddenly stopped existing tomorrow.
Yep, and today we are talking about what life might be like in a world without bread. Wow, so bread, really getting into the deep, powerful subjects
The
now.
really important stuff. The fundamentals of our society, if you will. Yeah, honestly, I don't think this one bothers me that much.
No, you're not a big fan of bread?
I like bread, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But if it was gone, I'd be like,
There's other foods
that would
in
be
the sea.
about my reaction. Just
Oh, it's a shame. All that
Anyway,
bread.
on with the rest of my life. So I think this is probably so far the lowest bar sort of.
The lowest stakes.
The lowest stakes,
The
if you
stakes
will.
are as low as they can ever be right now.
Not as they can ever be. I'm sure we could think of something
Have ever been.
Have ever been.
Wow. Now, this is a very interesting topic because last podcast we were talking about pain, which is French for bread, funnily. So any French listeners right now, they're going to think, hang on, you did this
I've already
podcast
done this
last
one.
time. They're
What?
repeating already.
Just doing it again, just in English this time. Okay, I get it. The last one, they just thought we're doing it in French the whole
Exactly.
time. Yeah.
They were probably quite confused. So if you are French, I apologise.
So we still have the individual ingredients.
We still have
of bread,
flour
and yeast and water, we would hope.
Water, I would very much hope, yes.
Okay, but can we make dough?
I think we can make dough, yeah, because that isn't bread. Yes.
When does dough become bread?
Well, I'm not a chef, but I believe you have to cook it.
Yeah, but like if we're halfway through cooking it. You know, that sort of like cookie dough you eat, but then you can
Okay.
cook it and it becomes cookies. You can kind of eat it anywhere in between. It's kind of fine.
Yes.
Why can we make pasta dough and not bread dough? Because I'm just saying, I want to know that everything else is still there. Because otherwise, you don't have pasta, biscuits, cakes, donuts, noodles.
You're panicking, aren't you? You're starting to
Because
panic.
without bread, I'm fine. Like, as I said, not a big deal. But you'd start taking away pasta and cakes and biscuits. And
Now you've
stuff.
got something to
I'm-
say.
Now I'm worried.
You're fuming now. Okay.
So just want to make clear, we still have all of them.
Yeah, we still have all our pastas and all other things
Good.
like that. It's very much just the bread that
We still have yeast.
that we're missing. Yeah, sure.
Otherwise, no beer. So
Exactly. A
Okay,
huge.
I'm-
I think
I'm-
that's the second largest usage of yeast is beer.
is it?
I don't know.
Is bread the first?
I'm gonna say yes.
You don't know, do you?
I don't know.
Stop just making up
I
facts on the
tried to
spot.
learn. I did try to learn yeast facts, but I just kind of got
Yeast
bored.
facts. Yeastfacts.com. You went on and there wasn't much on there.
Wasn't much on
apparently.
there. They didn't really know their stuff. So a lot of foods now are just a complete and utter mess.
Yes, this is true.
Without the bread element anymore. Burgers, for one.
Mm.
Imagine eating a burger without the bun.
Yeah. Would you try and replace it with anything, or you just pick up the burger and some lettuce and just...
Maybe you use lettuce or something now as your replacement bun. Yeah, I think they do that in like healthy eating stuff because bread obviously makes you fat, as we all know.
As Scott Pilgrim tells us.
Pilgrim tells us. Very high in sugars, sort of.
Sugars, salt,
Something.
flour. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's bad for you. Don't eat bread. I think we'd probably want to replace it with something. We're not just getting rid of it. Because imagine a pizza without the bread. It's just
tomato on a plate.
just tomato and cheese and some
Bread.
other random toppings. You just have to spoon it into your mouth.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure it'd still be tasty.
I'm sure it'd still be very tasty. In fact, I want to try it right now, but it is still definitely missing, again, its structural integrity. Bread is very much a building block of the food world.
Yeah, because I mean, I think KFC are kind of ahead of their time on this.
Right.
They have the double down burger.
Interesting.
Which, for those of you who aren't aware, is chicken, and chicken. The chicken there playing the roles of both the chicken
see.
and the bread.
So they've doubled down on the chicken.
Yeah. So at first it seems like that is a ridiculous thing to do, KFC. That is stupid. But they were just ahead of their time. They're just planning for the eventual bread apocalypse.
Well, you say that. I've noticed a massive flaw in your plan.
Uh-huh.
Breadcrumbs. How do you make breadcrumbs without bread? Which means they can't breadcrumb their chicken, which means KFC will go out of business.
Well-
I feel like an evil genius.
do you have a vendetta against KFC?
I love KFC.
But, okay, they can still have chicken. They just won't be able to bread it. It won't be as good, I reckon. That's what I'm saying.
Can you fry?
I'm vegetarian.
You're
but-
vegetarian, so you haven't got a
This doesn't
horse
bother
in
me,
this
but,
race
yeah.
anyway.
I don't know. I think they would still do chicken. They wouldn't. Oh, we haven't got breadcrumbs. Let's just get out of the chicken game. I think they would. I think they would still keep going.
They'd come up
They've
with a
still got
new
the
crumb.
chickens. Yeah.
I wonder what alternate crumbs could you have? Like I'm sure there's some vegetable-based crumbs out there that might be quite nice.
Probably. You could use something else. You know,
Crisps.
like crisps. Like
Crisp
they're not
crumbs.
made of bread, but you could just sort of crumble them up. Like Doritos. Just
Oh.
crumble them up like tortilla chips. And
Oh.
now we're talking. If anything, this would be a great.
This is an improvement.
Oh.
Get rid of the bread, bring on the Doritos.
Another alternative people sometimes use is weirdly cauliflower.
Right. Tell me more.
It's weirdly a very versatile vegetable. You can make rice out of cauliflower.
Cauliflower rice.
People make like pizza bases out of cauliflower rice. That's kind of why I mentioned it, because you
Right.
could now still have pizza. I don't really know how it works, but you make basically like a base out of cauliflower, and then you put pizza.
So you just kind of mush it up a bit, and it goes to
I
like
don't
a
really know.
flour.
Apparently, it's very nice.
See, I don't like cauliflower.
Well, I didn't think I did until I was vegetarian, and then you realise the power of the cauliflower.
the power, the collie power.
The cauliflower. Oh my god! I want to start a cauliflower restaurant called the Cauliflower. And it's actually really versatile. Like cauliflower steaks are really good, or cauliflower burgers and stuff.
Huh.
But then if we take after KFC, we could do the cauliflower double down, where it's cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
I mean, probably too much cauliflower at that point. You might as well just
eat a cauliflower.
cauliflower.
Yeah, I do like cauliflower cheese.
Oh,
though,
I mean,
but I think it's the cheese.
It's
that
mainly
I-
the cheese.
that I
You
like.
could just smother anything in enough cheese, and you'd probably like it. So
I like cauliflower rat poison. I mean, cheese rat poison. What am I talking about? Cauliflower rat poison is really bad.
Yeah,
I would hate
I
it
wouldn't
both.
recommend it. Why am I even doing this? I don't like either of these things.
I'd be just as upset about the cauliflower as I would the poison. Toasters now totally useless, or are they?
No, I'm sure you can toast other things.
What other things do you toast other than bread-based products? It's always like bagels, which have gone, and other things like that. Crumpets.
Oh, I love a crumpet.
Crumpets are hard. I did try to research whether crumpets are a bread-based product.
What else are they?
Crumpet-based. They're their own.
They're their own entity.
They're their own man.
No, crumpets are definitely a form of bread. I don't know how you make a crumpet. I don't know where all the holes come from.
Neither do I.
American people, do you have crumpets?
They do not.
Oh,
They do not.
you don't have a clue what we're on about.
No, sorry about all this.
Sorry.
First we annoy
They're
the French.
great. They're great. Really. If you can get hold of a crumpet, you'll thank me later.
So yeah, I was trying to think of other uses for a toaster. Potential sock dryers. If you ever get
Dangerous.
wet socks. I mean,
Dangerous.
you'd have to turn it on low, of course.
You've invented the radiator, my friend. I think they're already in existence.
True.
Do you think if you left bread out in the sun, it would toast?
It would have to be very hot. If you were somewhere, Australia or somewhere where they've got really serious
Australians.
suction.
It's summer there at the moment, right? Go out and put some toast outside.
No bread.
Yeah.
I mean,
it'd be
putting
pointless
toast
if you
out
took-
is ruining the experiment.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't work. You'd be like, I toasted really quickly. It was almost instantaneous. No, go out and put some bread outside. Let me know if it toasts. Thank you.
Feedback to us. Windmills now, they also become completely useless.
They do.
They do.
Although, do we still use windmills?
I'm
I don't think I've
sure.
ever seen a windmill.
Really? No, well, no, you say it. You don't stumble across them on a daily
Like,
basis.
I've seen them in pictures.
In Holland, they have a lot of
I've heard
windmills.
they're notorious. for
Heard
their-
the rumours.
Heard the rumours of their many windmills they have over there in the Netherlands.
I mean, even if you don't see one every day, windmills were at least the big maker of breads, right? They grind the
Sure.
flour
Sure.
into flour. They create the flour. So yeah, I was trying to think of some alternatives to that. And the obvious one that sprung to mind was crazy golf courses could be upgraded.
That is the only time I've seen a windmill. I knew I'd seen one.
There you
Crazy
go.
golf. Mini golf for Americans.
They've been using the miniature versions all along. Now they can have the real thing.
Oh my god, giant. So just golf without mini. It's
It's just golf, big mini golf.
like it. You know, like they often have like a sphinx or something like that. We just go to Egypt.
Really
and do
get
it
the
through
real
the real
sphinx.
one.
Stop trying to recreate
Miniaturize
world.
everything. You can just play real golf in real windmills and real sphinxes. I guess not always practical to go to Egypt every time you want to play golf.
Probably not. No.
I guess that's probably why they did it.
But also crazy golf, mini golf, and things like that. Why have we not crazied up some other sports? Like,
Which made them really small.
yeah, like what was so boring about golf that someone was like, you know what? Let's
They
change
didn't
this
like
up a
walk
notch
in, maybe. They were just like, oh, so long to that hole.
to that
Just-
windmill over
let's
there.
just make it a bit shorter. Let's get it over with. Well, there are miniature versions of other sports.
Like table tennis.
Foosball.
Yeah, you've really poked a hole in my whole plan
Yeah.
here, haven't you?
Not one for skiing.
miniature. What do you? That's just called slipping like down the
Falling
stairs
over.
a little bit.
Basketball. You get those little mini basketball hoops you put over a bin, and you just sort of.
True, not exactly that. That wouldn't be televised as much. Though crazy golf.
When was the last time you saw televised mini golf?
If it was, I would be watching it. That's
Really?
for sure. Getting pros to go and play miniature crazy golf. How cool would
just
that
get a
be?
driver just right through the windmill. So I was thinking about Hansel and Gretel.
As you do.
Well, because of this, not
Right.
just
Not just generally.
Yeah. Obviously, find their way home with breadcrumbs.
They do.
So poor little Hansel and Gretel would be lost. Although I realised I didn't actually really know the story of Hansel and Gretel that much.
Do tell us.
Yeah, I'll update you if you haven't heard the 1800s story of Hansel and Gretel. Get up to speed. Basically, Hansel and Gretel, they go out with their family. They got an evil stepmom. She abandons them in the forest or something. But little Hansel, he's smart. He's left some white pebbles, right, to get home. And so he uses them, get home, and kind of forgot the bit. But the stepmom gets angry at him leaving white pebbles or something
They
everywhere.
were her favourite white
I don't know.
pebbles.
I can't really remember that bit of the story. I got bored. Anyway, next day they go out again into the woods, and again they abandon them. But this time, little Hansel, he's used breadcrumbs to find his way home.
He's not that clever if they've tricked him a second time to
Well,
leave
yeah,
him in
I
the
know.
woods again.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
But the breadcrumbs are the reason they can't get their way home, because all the birds eat all the breadcrumbs, and then that's
Right.
why they get lost in the woods, and then they come across a cannibalistic witch who force feeds them and then gets like burnt in an oven. It's a very dark story.
The story takes quite a strange turn
It's
at that
horrible.
point. It just goes from, very normal, very realistic to all of a sudden, yes, a cannibalistic witch.
and force feeding and torture, and it's very dark.
In a house made of biscuit-based...
Yeah, a confectionery
things.
house. Yeah, it's a strange one. But really, I always thought the breadcrumbs are how he found his way home.
Yeah.
But they're the reason he gets lost.
Yeah, so it's putting out the wrong message,
So really, what I'm saying is we should be using pebbles instead of bread.
which we can still do
Yes,
in this world
so-
of breadless missing.
Pebble burgers and
Oh, you're taking it
pebble
about
pizzas
8 steps further.
and pebble donuts.
This is
And-
very much sounding like an episode of the Flintstones.
Yeah, I guess so. Before they had bread, they just used pebbles for it. I guess dentists would get a lot more business now we've all broken our teeth eating pebbles.
Very true. Yeah.
So I may have taken that one too far. But I was just surprised that breadcrumbs aren't helpful in the
Aren't
story of
helpful at
Hansel
all.
and
No,
Gretel.
I
Well,
genuinely believe that breadcrumb trails were a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you
Use
for enlightening
pebbles
me.
instead.
Thank you. Body of Christ. He's made of bread.
He is apparently.
Bread
Or
and
bread
bread,
Jesus.
bread and wine. Bread body, blood wine.
Uh-huh.
So no longer could he be made of bread. What else would make a good body? What would you want to be made of?
Oh. Am I eating myself or
No,
just to live?
Just to live.
Oh, I was going to say
Just
cheese otherwise.
A
Oh,
cheese body. Can't
That'd
get
be
too
good.
hot. What kind of cheese though? Because that's very
Maybe
very
a halloumi or something so I don't melt. Plus halloumi's great.
halloumi is pretty good.
Yeah. Plus I'm quite salty.
What about your blood? What would you swap your blood for?
Ribena?
All right.
Are
Sure.
You? What,
Yeah, I didn't give it much thought to be honest. But yeah, bread certainly wouldn't be my go-to body material.
No.
It's quite spongy.
Yeah.
It's not got a lot of rigidity.
Well,
to
if you're a
it.
baguette or something, a hard crusted.
True. You saying I've got a hard, crusty exterior, but I'm soft and doughy inside.
Sure. We'll go with that. That's what I was alluding to.
Thank you. I think. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like a gravy blood.
Oh.
Nice warm.
I was
gravy
going to have to go
blood going
colour
on.
consistent. That's only why I
Course
picked
not.
Ribena.
Course
It's
not.
the only sort of reddish thing I can think of. Oh.
Well, we
Okay.
didn't know Jesus' blood wasn't a nice Sauvignon Blanc.
We didn't.
It just says wine.
Hmm.
So, it doesn't have to be red.
I think traditionally it is.
Maybe.
I don't think they hand that white wine. I mean, like, here's the blood of Christ. I would be a bit confused. Are you sure this isn't another bodily fluid, sir?
I mean, yeah, why stop at the blood? I mean,
Yeah.
the old phrase, the best thing since sliced bread, gets bandied around a lot as well.
So what would be the new best thing?
Well, I was trying to work out what the best thing before sliced bread was, what they used to say before sliced bread.
Bread?
It wasn't bread.
Uh-huh.
It was actually wrapped bread.
Huh.
Bread wrapped. They invented that and they were like, oh, best thing since wrapped bread.
Okay.
Then they sliced it.
But we still can't say best thing since wrap bread because
No.
bread is gone.
You're right. So I tried to find out what the best invention before that was, and it turns out they weren't really keeping track. So I'm going to say maybe the best thing since fire or the wheel or something quite iconic.
I would say both of those better than bread. So I don't think sliced bread topped either of them.
You're right. I reckon that was a handy-dandy marketing campaign to sell all this sliced bread more efficiently than the wheels and all that was selling.
Yeah, if someone went best thing since sliced bread, but what about the wheel?
And they should probably keep updating the statement too, because there's been plenty of things better than sliced bread since then also.
I think that's what people are trying to do when they're like, that's the best thing
since the internet, or...
The internet's not always that good, is it?
I mean, it's better than sliced bread.
Well, I don't know.
Coming from the man that earlier was saying he wasn't fussed if bread disappeared.
I'm not fussed if the internet disappears, to be honest. But no, yeah, you're right. The internet is probably better than bread.
Yes.
Well, depends what... As food, the internet's dreadful.
The internet isn't a very good part of your diet, no.
I mean, other than online shopping, I guess. You can do your grocery shopping online. I can get more than bread using the internet.
Yeah.
I can get any food I want. So obviously sandwiches are gone, which brings me to a debate that's probably been raging amongst me and my friends for about 10 years. You might have heard it at home, but if you take a piece of bread, some filling, and a piece of bread, you got a sandwich, right?
Yeah,
I think we'd all agree with that.
Yeah.
If you cut that in half, right, do you have 2 sandwiches or 2 halves of a sandwich?
Yeah. Now this is a tough one.
Yeah.
I've got some strong feelings about this.
Weirdly, I don't actually know what side of it you are on.
I am on the side basically that it becomes 2 sandwiches.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah,
Well done.
You're correct in your mind.
No, you are just objectively correct.
You almost can't have half a sandwich.
You can't, because sandwiches are just
bread,
bit of bread, filling, bit
bread.
of bread.
No matter what size, shape, or anything. So, yeah.
So have that debate amongst your friends, and maybe you can ruin your friendships as well.
Let us know which way you think. Are we wrong in saying that?
I mean, we're
it
not
becomes
wrong.
that?
You can tell us if you are wrong by thinking the other way around.
Here's a point I always say: if you think that it's wrong, no, it's 2 halves of a sandwich. You can have half a sandwich, of course. You eat half a sandwich and you leave the other half. Well, here is my argument against that. If you're cutting it sort of straight down, so that you've now got two like rectangular mini sandwiches or triangles or however you do it, I can, it's hard to explain. But if you was to cut the bread sideways, so you've now got 2 very thin pieces of bread, you cut your filling again sideways, so you've got 2 very thin slices of ham or whatever you had, and again the bottom piece of bread sideways, you could now make 2 ham sandwiches that are both now very, very thin, half as thin as the other. You'd say that's 2 sandwiches. You wouldn't say there's 2 half sandwiches there.
Also, you take 1 piece of bread, put some filling inside it, fold it in half, you got a sandwich.
You have.
You ain't got half a sandwich, have you?
Not a very well culinarily made one necessarily.
No, but still a sandwich.
Still a sandwich nonetheless.
Also, you go to Tesco's, they sell triples, which are 3 of those half sandwich things. They're not called a 1.5 sandwich, are they? You idiots. Not to insult anyone who's very wrong on this argument, but
let's keep
idiots.
the debate nice and fun and light-hearted, shall we? It's about bread after all.
But yeah, let us know if you have the incorrect opinion. I'm sorry to get so invested in this. It's been a debate that's been raging amongst some friends and I for quite a while. We get into it sometimes.
Well, we do our research separately for this podcast, and I have written down sandwich cut in half debate written in my list of points.
It will never be solved.
Just going to come out and say it. Ducks. What are they going to eat now?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to go hungry.
Yeah.
The hungry duckling.
I mean, I think we're just assuming they like bread.
Well, they eat it, so...
Well, I think it's in the kind of the way that they've just been throwing it. It's like, it's food, isn't it?
They got nothing else to do.
Yeah, they got nothing else. It's just, free food, I guess.
You're saying ducks eat bread out of boredom?
I'm just saying bread's not their number one choice. It's not their top of their list. If they're at a restaurant, I don't think they'd be ordering bread. I think we're assuming that they like bread that much. I'm not saying they don't like it. They're not eating it to hate themselves. They're just like, I hate this, but I'm just going to do it anyway.
Torturing
Yeah,
themselves.
they obviously like it. They're into it, but I'm not sure it's their favourite thing.
Yeah, well...
I have some experience of this, in fact.
Go,
I used to live with a duck.
You used to live with a duck?
I mean, it wasn't my roommate.
The duck was living in a house with you, or you living in the pond with the duck?
No, I was living in a house.
Right, okay, just wanted to clear that up.
I was living in a house, and my housemate had a duck as a pet, and used to wear a nappy and everything, walk around the house, so obviously didn't poo itself in the house.
Yeah.
And it eats anything.
Really?
Everything and anything, but I never actually saw it eat bread. Eats tomatoes, eats pasta, eats crisps, Literally anything you put in front of it. So I'm just saying,
Wow.
ducks aren't fussy.
I mean, was it ever given the option of bread? Did it ever turn its beak up at eating some bread, or was it just kind of no one ever gave it a try?
I can't remember.
What you throwing it crisps and things then?
Well, if you were eating anything, it was always trying to eat from what you had.
Right, wow.
So it was a vicious animal. I hated it. Hated the.
You disliked the duck.
Very much so. Very aggressive duck. It would just bite you constantly.
Maybe it got so angry because no one was feeding it bread.
Maybe that was it.
It was like, all I
"Stop
want is
giving me
bread.
pasta.
I'm a
I
duck."
want bread. No, one thing it really did love was tomatoes, weirdly enough.
Huh.
Couldn't
Okay.
get enough of tomatoes.
Would not have thought that about a duck.
Me neither.
November 15th is National Cheese and Bread Day here in the UK,
Is it?
which is fun. Yeah, did not know that.
No.
Been missing celebrating that all my life.
I know. I eat cheese and bread most days. So
I don't think it's you have to not eat it on the other days. It's just you get to celebrate bread and
Right.
cheese. Weirdly, we have 8 days in the United Kingdom where we celebrate food. Guess how many the USA have a year?
360.
It's just 5 days they thought that.
That would have it off.
Close. I mean, 175
Wow.
days in the USA that they have celebrating various foods. I mean, it's almost anything. But I mean, who decides? Like, today, National
Who do you
Sausage
go
Day.
to like be like, by the way, this is now the official day?
The calendar makers? I don't know.
The people who print the calendar
Yeah.
on your calendar. Can you just write down National Bread Day,
Hey,
please,
that-
mate?
That's a good way of spreading awareness of a particular day, though.
But if I suddenly wanted to start being like, nah, mate, I think National Cheese and Bread Day should be April the 12th.
Yeah.
Can I like fight someone?
You want to physically have a punch out with somebody.
No, but like, who do I go to be like, no, it shouldn't be in November, it should be in April.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it must be quite a secretive society of food
Yeah.
day.
I
Planners.
Yeah. If I wanted to make a new day, who do I go to?
Yeah, because there's only 8. There's plenty. That's less than one a month.
I know. Is there like, National Tea Day?
Yeah,
Probably.
that was one of them.
Oh,
that was one of
yeah.
them. I haven't written all the whole list down,
No.
but it was quite an interesting read. That's for sure.
Sounds it.
It was a thrilling.
A thrilling 8 list read. Read all 8 of them. What a read. Recommend that one.
But yeah, I mean, luckily they've already kind of covered themselves by having bread and cheese day. It would just get demoted to National Cheese Day.
Yeah,
now,
this is true.
Which
I feel like they do. At least cheese deserves its own day.
you'd think so, wouldn't you? Because there are a lot of different types of cheese. Cheese is a lot more diverse than bread can be.
Oh, that's quite a shout.
I'm going ahead and putting my foot
I'm
down.
not
and
saying you're
that.
wrong, but I don't think that's like a blanket statement that you can just
Hey,
say as fact.
you're up for fighting lately? Fight me.
All right. What do you do if I just jumped across this table and punched you?
Probably fall to the floor. So we'd have all this leftover wheat, wouldn't we? All this wheat is the biggest use of bread. No, bread is the biggest use of wheat in the world.
Not
so
surprising.
bread suddenly disappears. We've still got all this wheat being grown all over the world. So I thought I'd be a good citizen and look up some other uses of
Right.
wheat that
Good.
we already
Thinking ahead.
do. Exactly, that's me. And some weird ones came up. Moisturizers apparently have wheat in it.
Would be all very well moisturised.
Very well moisturized with all this extra wheat. Charcoal. You can make charcoal with wheat. Or I don't think it's like purely used.
Don't you make that out of coal?
I don't know. I think it's just used in the process of making
Right.
charcoal.
Okay.
You got insulation for your house.
When people put a load of bales of wheat in their roof.
Apparently so. I mean, that's like
Is
a
this
thatched-
insulation from like the 1800s
a
or
thatched
something?
cottage. It might be. I don't know how old
I
does
don't
the
think it's
internet
modern.
date back to. And weirdly, very referential to earlier, golf tees can be made using wheat as well. So all these leftover
All
windmills.
comes full circle.
Full circle, everybody.
Wow.
Maybe bread was destined to never be.
And just be taken over by golf.
Guess how long we've had bread for in the world?
20 years. More? Less?
More.
Okay. I know. I actually, 1,000 years.
We've
No,
had it-
more. More.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Do you want to know the answer?
No, I want to get
We might be here for a long time.
6,000 years.
Wrong. 30,000 years. Apparently,
I
we've
didn't
had
think
bread
we
for.
even knew how to do agriculture until 10,000 years ago.
Well, maybe my sources are incorrect, but
Oh,
30,000
I'm almost
years.
certainly wrong, but-
It was a very crude bread substance,
Right.
I assume. Very much just
they were just like
mush.
chowing down on some wheat and then drunk a bit of water and then just sort of
chomping
made it in
up
their mouth.
In their
yeah.
mouth, yeah. Probably wasn't very good bread. Certainly not sliced. But yeah, 30,000 years. So it's very ingrained in our world.
Very clever. Grained.
Grained. That was an unintentional, but I'll take it. I'll have it as my own.
Well done.
Anything I can get.
Yeah.
It's also in every single culture as well.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine if you went to a culture and just like, oh, can I have some bread, please? Some what? Bread? No idea what you're on about, mate. You turn up with a loaf of bread, you become like a king. Like, what is this? Yes,
Yeah.
that isn't a surprising fact that everyone has bread.
I wasn't supposed to be surprising. I was just merely saying that it just means that it is very much part of.
It affects everyone.
It affects everybody in every walk of life. I always see it as a mark of a good restaurant if they give out free bread as well when you go in. Not many do it nowadays.
Free bread?
Used to have not free bread anymore. You can buy it.
Well, because they often
Bread
do
and
that
butter.
sneaky thing, don't they? Where they bring bread out.
Right, and then charge
if
you.
you eat it, they charge you for it.
Oh,
And you're just
like a mini
"Whoa."
bar in a hotel.
Yeah, exactly. They tempt you with the bread. Just oh, great, free bread. You eat it and you add it onto your bill. Just like, damn you.
Imagine if they just did that in for every food on the menu.
You sit down and just bring out meals to you. Just oh, great.
And if they just watching behind curtains in the kitchen, are they going to eat that? Are they going to eat
A
it?
tally chart. Like, oh, he touched that one.
He gave that one a very good look. I'm going to charge him for it, I think. And I was looking what else they give you for free as well. Tap water. They have to give it to you for free, but only if they serve alcohol. If they don't serve alcohol, they don't have to give you free tap water. They can charge for it.
I did not know that.
No, interesting.
I
Right?
always knew they have to give you free tap water thing, but I just presumed it was everywhere.
No, only if they serve alcohol.
Wow.
Don't know how that changes your life, but let that sink in a little.
I just hope the restaurants don't find out because I'm often that annoying guy, just like just a tap water, please.
Yeah.
So I hope they don't find out.
Yeah,
Although most restaurants sell alcohol, don't they?
a lot of them do nowadays. Thank goodness.
So what have we learned?
I'd be very unhappy without bread.
But playing a lot more golf.
Playing a hell of a lot more golf all over the place with a very moisturised face.
Yeah. So all balances out, I guess.
Yeah, swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, there we go. I think that'll do us for today. Hope you enjoyed listening.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts about a world without bread. Are there any extra weird side effects that you can think of that we didn't mention? If you're listening on YouTube, you can, of course, let us know down there in the comments.
But if you're listening on any of the popular podcast places, then you can tweet us at Kris and Jack. That's Kris with a K.
But thank you very much for listening. We will see you next time.
Goodbye.